Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where you play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam Allman.
I'm the Great Bernard.
And I'm Trish. I didn't have anything prepared.
And today we'll be playing the fourth part of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, covering Chapter 3 of Glitz and Glory. But before we get to all of that, how is everybody's last 3 weeks?
So the first 2 weeks of my last 3 weeks was terrible because I was working my old job that I hated. But as of yesterday, I am free of that job.
Okay.
I am no longer working that job, and I'm so happy that I'm not working that job anymore. I am tired because on Wednesday and Thursday, after working full shifts at my old job, I did like 4.5-hour shifts at my new job to get started. So I'm tired because I worked a few long days this week.
Yeah.
And I'm working more at my new job this evening and tomorrow evening and then next week and for the rest of my life.
Good. But at least at the new job, you won't want to kill yourself every day.
Yes.
That's a
Not
major
for job
benefit.
reasons, at least.
Yeah. Just for general millennial malaise reasons. But, yeah, go ahead, Trish.
Oh yeah, so I did a as the kids these days say, a major adulting sort of thing. In that so about 8 months ago, my wife, this house when we got it didn't have a dishwasher, which sucks because we're a 4-person household. So we generate a lot of dishes, and none of us are like fully abled. Me and my wife are the closest to fully abled, and she works a full-time job, so I end up doing most of the dishes, but that still means that a huge amount of the counter space is taken up by dirty dishes all the time. And it's stressful, and it'd be better if we had a dishwasher, and she bought one about 8 months ago. But there's no place to install a dishwasher.
That's no
So
good.
we have to hire a contractor to cut out a section of like under-counter cabinet space and do the plumbing stuff and do the electrical stuff to get that thing in there and working. And we've had this dishwasher sitting in our kitchen for 8 months. Because my wife, I love her and I understand completely, just didn't do it. And I get it, because making phone calls is difficult. And so recently she just sat me and her other wife down and was like, hey, you two need to do this. And we were like, okay. And so the other day my wife's wife was just like, hey, here's a list of 10 contractors in the area. Here's their phone numbers. And then I called all of them. And I left a bunch of voicemails, and I talked to several of them, and I'm currently in talks with hiring someone getting a quote so we can hire someone to do this. So that's great, and I'm a little flummoxed that I managed to do 10 phone calls in one day, but I did it.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I absorb your pride like a flower absorbing water from the earth. Or like a greedy manager of a fighting ring soaking up the energy of his fighters through a horrifying machine.
What an odd comparison. I definitely understand having trouble doing that kind of thing because I've had much smaller things that I've put off for about that long. Like a few years ago, my shower curtain was ugly and I wanted a new one, so I bought a new one and then did not put up the new one for several months.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Listen, doing stuff like that's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yesterday I was stuck between two really hard things of going over to my neighbors and telling them to turn off the music, or calling the management to put in a noise complaint about the neighbors. Both of them talk to other people, and I didn't want to do either of them.
Yeah,
It's not fun. Talking to people is bad. That's why I only talk to you two, and this is the only talking I do all week long. As for me, I went to Texas, and Texas was really cool and really awesome. And most of my friends have moved away from Texas, Bernard not including. The logistics didn't work for me and Bernard to hang out, but it's okay.
It's also a big ass state. Saying you're in Texas and he is in Texas is like.
I mean, I was in Pflugerville and he was in Georgetown. It was about.
I don't know what
15
that
minutes.
means.
I was about to.
We were in the same metro area, basically.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Okay, that helps.
We were, so
like 15 minutes away from each other. But yeah, I ate a whole bunch of Tex-Mex.
Hell yeah.
And it was real good. We had Chewy's, we had Taco Hut. Shout outs to Taco Hut. Taco Hut literally is twice as expensive as it was when I lived there, and it's still one of the best deals you can get for Tex-Mex ever. It's just a taco truck there off Runberg for anyone who's in Austin who wants to go and give them your money. They deserve it. But it used to be $7 for 6 tacos. Now it's $15 for 6 tacos, that's
still pretty good.
It's still pretty freaking good. And so when I walked up there and I saw that the prices were doubled, I'm like, yeah, still worth it. I'm not being deterred by a literal doubling of the price. So we had that. It was really, really good. On our way in, we stopped in Kansas City, which is the closest Whataburger to Wisconsin, and Andy had a patty melt, and he fell in love with a patty melt, so we ended up having Whataburger like 12 times over the week, including on our way home. We had it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But yeah, it was great to see everybody. It was good to eat a lot of food. It was my first time interacting with Summer's family post-divorce, and they were all super excited to see me. All the kids still called me Uncle Sam and all of that stuff, so it felt good to like know I hadn't lost like my extended family for logistical reasons. So it was really nice.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah, and now I am glad that I'm back. Also, the drive was not horrible, so we're probably going to go more often than like we haven't been back in 4 years, so we're probably going to go like maybe twice a year now. But it just is exhausting to do that drive twice in a week, and then have to come back and put on my customer service voice to reset passwords for old people who think that the internet is going to stab them.
Yeah, I understand that.
But yeah. The other thing I did is last night we recorded an episode, and then I had 12 hours to play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, which took me 5.5 hours. So I am currently exhausted. So let's talk about it.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Well, I was typing in my notes. Usually I type in my notes and then I say, Bernard, kick us off. So, Bernard, kick us off.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I was just distracted, and then I realized, oh, maybe I should be talking. Anyway, back in the Boggly Woods, the Punies see Mario and friends off. On the way out of the forest, Mario gets Peach's email, which doesn't really say much.
No, it doesn't.
Mario and friends return to the Thousand Year Door. A floating city appears on the map. That's weird. They go ask Professor Frankly about it, who says it's pointing to the floating town of Glitzville, a famous tourist trap which somehow no one in the party knows about. Also, despite it being a tourist trap, getting a ticket there is so difficult they'll need the Mafia's help to get one.
Well, yeah, it's ritzy, you know? You gotta...
I fucking guess so. Mario asks around town and eventually finds out how to get an audience with Don Pianta, the head of the Pianta Mafia. It involves buying certain items in a certain order, then telling the shopkeeper your favorite color is yellow. Mario gets into the office of Don Pianta. The intimidating mob boss is offended by Mario's request for a ticket to Glitzville, but likes his gumption, so he offers a deal. If Mario can retrieve his daughter, Francesca, who eloped with his subordinate, Frankie, he'll provide a ticket. If Mario cannot retrieve the couple, his luck may turn terrible. Uh-oh. Mario finds them in Rogueport Harbor, which I don't know why the Mafia didn't think to look there for the people who are skipping town. Upon hearing that Mario's there to fetch them, Frankie says that maybe they should go back and talk things over with the boss. Francesca says they've got to just run away forever, and be in love. She begs Mario to leave them be. Mario agrees to not tell the Don where they are. Hopefully the horrifying organized crime boss will forgive him. Mario returns to Don Pianta and says he can't tell them where Francesca and Frankie are. Just as the Don is revving up the death threats, Francesca and Frankie burst in. They both apologize repeatedly to the Don, who gets fed up and, in a roundabout mean guy way, gives them his blessing to get married. Francesca and Frankie thank him and run off to get married or whatever. Don Pianta considers Mario's end of the bargain fulfilled, so he gives him the ticket. Mario and friends board the blimp to Glitzville. Chapter 3 of Glitz and Glory. Mario and friends disembark in Glitzville, the marvelous glittering wonderland that has a grand total of 4 business establishments. An item shop, a juice bar, a hot dog stand, and a fighting arena called the Glitz Pit. Anyway, they go check out the arena because what else are they gonna do? In the ring is a coup patrol and a huge birdman named Rockhawk. The latter effortlessly dispatches the former. A spike guy named Grubba walks up to interview Rockhawk, who brags about how great he is and then shows off his championship belt. It has a crystal star on it. Mario decides the best way to get the crystal star is to fight his way through all the Glitz Pit's challengers, take out Rockhawk, and become the new champion. Martial Arts Tournament Arc.
Hell yeah.
It's actually much more themed on pro wrestling than a martial arts tournament, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Mario asks to join the Glitz Pit competition and is sent to see Grubba, who is eager to accept the handsome young challenger. Grubba talks big of the riches and glory which await Mario, showing off the luxurious champions room and major league locker rooms. Grubba says he's never been so sure a fighter's going to be a star. Also, just sign this contract real quick, thanks. Mario signs the contract and Grubba says they've got to think of a better name for him for the ring. The name he comes up with is The Great Gonzalez.
Which is honestly kind of a fun name.
Grubba calls in a toad with mysterious vibes named Jolene to show Gonzalez to the minor league locker room, which is really shitty. She explains that what Grubba says goes, that Gonzalez is rank 20, the lowest rank, and that he can register for a match with the Game Boy Advance on the wall. Gonzalez registers for a match and Grubba sets some conditions. If Gonzalez doesn't meet the conditions, he won't rank up, even if he wins. Gonzalez heads to the ring, Grubba introduces the fighters, the fight plays out, Gonzalez wins and returns to the locker room 1 rank higher and a few coins richer. Get used to this sequence of events, we're going to see it play out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
After the fight, Gonzalez meets the kooky cast of characters he shares the minor league locker room with. There's a friendly Koopa named King K, and a bandit named Bandy Andy, who's always snooping around. There's a couple of other folks, but they won't be relevant to the plot. Gonzalez fights his next match against King K, who is gracious in defeat. Then Gonzalez fights another match. Upon returning to the locker room, Gonzalez overhears Jolene scolding Bandy Andy for snooping around in some off-limits room. Interesting. Gonzalez fights another match. Then Gonzalez fights another match. Back in the locker room, King K tells Gonzalez that the hot dog stand has some new menu item featuring a mysterious egg from a far-off island. Gonzalez heads to the hot dog stand and sees the pig who runs it chasing a bouncing egg. The egg eventually bounces on top of the stand, and Gonzalez uses his paper airplane curse to fly over and get to it. The egg seems to take a shine to Gonzalez, and Goombella insists they take it with them. Now we've got an egg following us. Gonzalez heads back to the Glitz Pit and fights another match. After, King K tells Gonzalez he should check out the stunning babe at the juice bar, but you don't have to go, and I don't think anything really comes of it if you do. I think you just get some backstory that will become clear eventually anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gonzalez fights another match. After, King K tells Gonzalez he's thinking of retiring. Gonzalez fights another match. After, we might notice King K is no longer in the locker room. Gonzalez fights another match. Then Gonzalez registers for another match. If he wins this one, he'll advance to the Major League. However, his opponents are a pair of enormous clefs with horns that can pierce anything and armor that can block anything. That's right, we've got a Maldun on our hands. Gumbella hypothesizes that they could win by slamming one into the other, but how could they ever do that?
No idea. Impossible challenge.
Who can say?
Gonzalez cannot win the fight. But upon returning to the locker room after his defeat, he finds that his egg friend has hatched into an adorable baby Yoshi. What colors are your Yoshis, and what did you name them?
My Yoshi is pink, and I named him Crystal.
Nice.
I didn't realize that they could be different colors. That's super cute. Mine is red, and I named him Yoshi.
Yeah, the color of the egg depends on how much time elapsed between you getting the egg from the hot dog cart and when it hatches. I'm gonna pull up. I was actually hoping, there are a couple other ones I was kind of hoping for, but the pink one's pretty cute. They also almost all, I think, have different hairstyles as well.
Yeah, they have different hairstyles too.
Yeah.
I also got the red one, which I think is if you do it the fastest, or
Yes,
if
I
it
think-
goes, if it loops around and you get back to the green one. Then
Yeah,
you
because
get
it
the green one.
very easily buffer overflows.
And
I really kind of wanted the light blue one just because that one has like a little curl of blonde hair that looks really adorable.
yeah, I got the red one too. I named him Trunks.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Gonzalez can hop on Trunks' back to move faster and hover over long gaps. Plus, he'll surely have some fun new abilities in battle. Wouldn't it be incredibly convenient if they were exactly what we needed to beat those giant clefs?
Yeah.
That would be so convenient.
Gonzalez registers to fight the giant clefs again, and sure enough, Trunks can gulp up one and spit it at the other, damaging both. With this new technique, Gonzalez and friends dispatch the giant clefs. After the match, Jolene takes Gonzalez to Grubba's office. When they enter, Grubba panics and shoves a desk drawer closed, telling Jolene to knock next time. Anyway, Grubba gives Gonzalez 30 coins and says he'll get him a new costume if he becomes a champion. Jolene takes Gonzalez to his new Major League locker room. The other fighters here are much colder than the ones in the minor league locker room. Rockhawk barges in, wearing his championship belt. He came to see this so-called up-and-comer Gonzalez. Upon seeing the belt up close, Gonzalez realizes that the crystal star is fake. Rockhawk yells for a while, then leaves. Gonzalez is left wondering where the real crystal star is. It must be in Glitzville, but where? Then he gets a mysterious email. It just says that if he wants the crystal star, he must heed the sender's instructions. It's signed X. Weird. Gonzalez has to wait for instructions right now, so in the meantime, he fights another match. Then Gonzalez fights another match. Then he gets an email from X telling him to go to the watering hole outside the Glitz pit. Gonzalez heads to the juice bar, and the bartender tells him somebody left a package for him. The package contains a super hammer. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Gonzalez can break big yellow blocks.
And you get another scene with Toadette.
Yes. Lots of great toads in this chapter. Gonzalez gets another email from X telling him to smash the blockade in the minor league locker room. Gonzalez does so and finds a hidden office which has a dubious paper hidden inside. It's a research document on the crystal stars. When Gonzalez leaves the office, Jolene is there. She tells him to stop snooping around and confiscates the document. But at least they've learned that the real crystal star is most likely here in the Glitz pit. Gonzalez fights another match. When he wins, the giant clefs from before hop in the ring, looking for revenge. They attack. Gonzalez and Trunks beat them up the same way as before. That was pointless. Gonzalez gets another email. It says that if Gonzalez keeps sticking his nose where it doesn't belong, he's dead meat. This threatening email is clearly not from X, but who could it be from? Gonzalez fights another match. Back in the locker room, Gonzalez finds that a fan sent him some cake. If he eats it, he fully recovers. Nice! He could have just done that by resting in the bed, but whatever! Cake! Gonzalez fights another match. When he wins, Bowser barges in and hops in the ring. He had heard of a mustachioed contender in the Glitz pit and came to beat him up. Bowser attacks. Gonzalez kicks his ass and heads back to the locker room. Gonzalez fights another match. He then gets another email from X telling him to go to the phone booth outside. On his way out, he runs into Rockhawk, who says he'll be in a world of hurt if he keeps stealing the spotlight. After that confrontation, Gonzalez heads to the phone booth and finds a mysterious key. Another email from X tells Gonzalez to head to the storage room next to Grubba's office. Gonzalez heads that way and overhears Jolene talking to a security guard about an unidentified person overheard in the storage room. After they leave, Gonzalez uses the key to get in. Miss Mouse is in there. She claims she wasn't the one who was overheard because she's silent. She smooches Gonzalez, then tells him the arena holds many secrets and he should be careful lest he end up like those poor souls upstairs. Creepy. Miss Mouse runs off. Another email from X tells Gonzalez to find a switch which will reveal the staircase to the attic. We do that and head upstairs. Gonzalez finds his way into a crawl space where he overhears Grubba and Jolene talking about the noise overheard in the locker room. Or in the storage room, rather. Grubba also asks about King K disappearing. Jolene says there's been no sign of him, so she deleted his place on the roster, just like with the other fighters who have gone missing. They both wonder what's behind the disappearances, and Grubba says the official story should be that King K just went home for a spell. Grubba asks Jolene what's up with her disappearing every now and then. Where does she go off to? She dodges the question. Grubba then asks if she knows anything about a crystal star. Jolene is shocked, but claims to not know anything about it and leaves. Gonzalez heads back to the locker room and fights another match. Then he gets another threatening email. It says if Gonzalez keeps looking for the crystal star, he'll suffer the same fate as the other fighters who went missing. Scary. Gonzalez registers for another match, but before the fight, Jolene enters with another cake from one of his fans. Gonzalez is suspicious of this one and chooses not to eat it. I mean, I keep saying that you do this specific thing when you clearly have a choice, and I'm just saying what I did. I don't know. I assume you can eat this cake. I don't know how it plays out if you do.
The second cake, it
Yeah.
poisons your partner, and they can't participate in the next match.
Oh, okay.
Which was and it was funny that because each match you have a random win condition, and
Yeah.
the one that it gave me when my partner died was don't switch out your partners. And I'm like, got it. Don't worry.
Nice.
Don't worry, I kind of can't. I was gonna say in a similar thing of poisoning. You know the bingo mechanic and how one of them looks like a poison mushroom.
Yeah.
I actually, for the first time ever playing this game, I got that earlier
Oh no.
in this
What happened?
chapter. It turns out when you get a poison mushroom, it halves your HP and your partner's HP and your FP and your star power.
Goodness.
It sucks, and it empties the entire audience.
Wow.
Hate that.
Yeah, no, it's a bad bingo.
After the fight, if Gonzalez did not eat the cake, he finds a Koopa in the locker room, ate it, and is now reeling on the floor. The cake was poisoned.
It was a lie.
Yes. Gonzalez fights another match, this one for the rank 1 spot in the Major League. After this, only the champion will be left. Gonzalez wins, then gets an email from X telling him to remove the Great Gonzalez posters from the lobby walls. Under one of the posters, which for me was the very last poster I took down.
It's always the last poster you take down.
It's so annoying.
I thought in the video I watched they got it first try, but I was skipping around. Maybe I missed.
Oh, I might be wrong.
What
That's
happened.
just what I remember from previous times playing.
I was skipping around the video, and I might have seen something I didn't, or thought I saw it happen a way it actually didn't. So who can say? There's no way of knowing. Under one of the posters, Gonzalez finds another key. An email from X tells him to go to the second floor of the storage room. Gonzalez goes there and unlocks a door he couldn't get through before. On the other side, he finds King K and Bandy Andy on the ground, barely clinging to life. Bandy Andy manages to tell Gonzalez to not go to the ring when no one's there. King K can't speak at all. As he goes to leave, Gonzalez catches a glimpse of Jolene peeking through the door. Spooky. Gonzalez heads back to the locker room and registers for the title match against Rockhawk. However, the security guard, who normally leads Gonzalez to the ring, takes him another way, supposedly because it's a special match. He drops Gonzalez off in an empty minor league locker room on the other side of the arena. Weird. After waiting a bit, Gonzalez tries to leave the locker room but finds the door is locked. In the ring, Grubba is already introducing Rockhawk. But, I'm sorry, it sounds like I'm saying raw cock. I hate it. But the great Gonzalez is nowhere to be seen. If he doesn't show up soon, he'll forfeit the match. Gonzalez finds a secret passage behind a Princess Peach poster in the minor league locker room, which leads to a major league locker room where Gonzalez flushes himself down a toilet to get to the other side of Glitz pit and heads to the ring. It's time to fight the champ. Rockhawk reveals he's the one who had the security guard lock Gonzalez up, and the one who sent him the poison cake. Rockhawk is a dirty cheater. Goombella's like, so you're the one who sent us those threatening emails about the Crystal Star. Rockhawk doesn't know anything about that, but he's gonna kill us. Boss battle.
A boss battle that I ended up beating him before he could even hit me more than once. Yeah, that I have to say, I never used to use this, but that new start special move we got from the end of last chapter, where you can stun enemies for a couple rounds. Once you get, so I messed it up the first time I used it because it's like a hot potato thing, where if you're not doing it correctly, you'll be the one who ends up stunned. Which being stunned for 3 turns is bad. But if you do it correctly and you stun the enemy for 3 turns, it's incredible.
I imagine. Does it stun both you and your partner if you do it wrong?
Oh, yeah, no, it stuns you and your partner if you do it wrong.
Goodness, that is a big risk. But I still haven't used that, and I found it to be a pretty fun fight. Sounds like you can sort of cheese it with that star power, though.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a fun fight either way. Like, it having done it legitimately, it's also just a fun fight. Mm-hmm. It really plays up the kind of pro wrestling dynamic of it.
Yeah. So the great Gonzalez wins the fight, and he's the new champion. Grubba gives Gonzalez the championship belt and has Jolene show him to the champions room. Once they're alone, Gonzalez and friends wonder what they're supposed to do to find the real Crystal Star. Then they hear a very faint voice coming from the vent. An email from X tells Gonzalez to investigate it, which we were probably going to do anyway. Gonzalez gets into a ventilation duct, where he overhears Grubba's voice say, as long as he's got that working for him, he'll never get old and weak, and that he's got to be careful because he let King K walk in on him while he was using that. And now he feels like Gonzalez and Jolene might be onto him, but he'll just disappear them, like he did with the first champ, Prince Mush. Gasp! Grubba was behind everything, and apparently speaks to himself like a lot.
Yeah.
He actually has a line during this, which is like, as long as I'm thinking out loud here, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah,
no,
blah.
It's so like, good.
You really are, man.
It's very on the nose and over the top, but I mean, it's the wrestling chapter. It fits.
And, you know, if someone told me Vince McMahon does this in his office, I would believe them, so.
Yeah, no, that just seems in character for him.
Yeah. Gonzalez busts through the vent, but Grubba's already gone. He investigates the desk and finds documents about a machine under the ring powered by the Crystal Star. It can suck the power out of people. King K and Bandy Andy must have been drained by the machine. Grubba walks in, sees Gonzalez has discovered a secret, then skedaddles. Gonzalez and friends pursue him to the ring. Grubba says that now that they know his secret, they'll have to take a dirt nap. He summons a big cage thing with the Crystal Star on top. He uses it to power himself up and get huge. Boss battle. This is also a pretty fun fight. He does lots of buffs on himself, and it's really cool. but Gonzalez and friends beat up Grubba. Jolene enters and thanks Gonzalez for defeating him. She apologizes for getting him involved, but says she had to learn the truth about the Glitz pit. She says she had a little brother named Mush, who we probably have heard about at this point from talking to people, and also Grubba mentioned him while talking to himself, but we've also probably heard rumors of the first champion Mush.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, her little brother became the first champion here, but disappeared mysteriously. She suspected foul play, so she became a manager here to try and learn the truth. Then one day she saw Grubba transform and almost gave up hope, seeing what she was up against. But then Gonzalez appeared. Jolene decided to secretly guide him so they could defeat Grubba together. She was X all along. Jolene demands Grubba tell her where Mush is. Grubba says he discovered the truth, so he had him disappear. Jolene is heartbroken, but then the crystal star starts going crazy and a toad with Jolene's same hairstyle pops out. It's Mush! Okay. After reuniting with her brother, Jolene tells Gonzalez that he can take the crystal star. End of chapter. Back in the X-Naut's lair, Grotus tells the Shadow Sirens to destroy Mario and all that. Beldam says they've prepared a weapon that will bring him to a quick and certain end the next time they meet. Meanwhile, the door to Peach's cell opens. She goes to speak to Tech, who asks her to disguise herself as an X-Naut so she can go ask Grotus about something. She doesn't have much choice, so she goes along with it. Peach disguises herself as an X-Naut grunt despite being significantly taller than them, and goes to Grotus's chamber. She asks what Grotus plans to do with Princess Peach. Grotus just tells her that they're to keep Peach here and never treat her roughly. He talks about how they need the legendary treasure to conquer the world. Peach leaves, changes out of her disguise, and returns to Tech. Peach tells Tech off for helping the X-Nauts in their attempt to take over the world. They talk for a bit about this evil scheme, then Peach asks to email Mario again. Tech lets her, then she returns to her room. Meanwhile, Bowser is in the Great Boggly Tree. The Punies run and hide. Bowser is still upset about his loss in Glitzville. He finds the puny elder and demands to know where the crystal star is in a drawn-out, humorous scene. This is sort of an anticlimactic end to the episode. All that really happens is Bowser learns more about the plot of the game and what Mario's been up to. Which, yeah. We'll have more adventures next week.
But first, we're going to listen to some more music and then talk about our memorable moment.
So, to start off with, you know how I'm doing like 100%-ish completion-y sort of thing with this run for some reason. I mean, I'm doing all the troubles. One of the troubles points you to a feature of this game we haven't really talked about, the Pit of 100 Trials. Except we did talk about that, I think, actually, a little bit last time.
Yeah, I think
Bernard
it was
some
like,
of it.
after the first chapter, if I recall correctly, after the first chapter, I got down to like the 30th level, and it was really scary.
Yeah. So there's a trouble at the Trouble Center that points you towards that, because there's a Toad kid whose dad went there because he really needed the money. And so he went down to the Pit of 100 Trials and hasn't been back since. And so you have to go down to get him. And like, oh, it's a fun little quest. It points you towards this little thing if you hadn't been paying attention to it. Really cool thing. So another feature of the Pit of 100 Trials is sometimes you get to a room randomly, and instead of a regular fight, it's like it's like a little dude who's like, hey, you want me to move you? If you pay me money, I'll skip you ahead a couple number of rooms. My first time through, I used that, and I didn't realize I skipped past the floor the dad is on.
Oh no.
And then I checked and realized I had just done that. So I started over. And then I got through, and I actually got to the room where he's on, floor 18, where he's all injured and laying down. And then I beat the enemy there, and I was going to talk to him, but the enemy dropped coins, and some of those coins landed on top of the pipe. So I went to go get the coins, and I pressed down, and I went down the pipe. So I then had to go a third time. And the third time was the charm. I actually got it at that point. But it took me this whole thing take like multiple hours just to do this one trouble, which doesn't even it gets you a thing for the Pianta gambling place. It gets you like it unlocks a new game for you. Like it's not worth it.
Sounds like it was not worth the trouble.
But it was very funny. Also, I went back once mid-chapter. You can just head back to Rogueport. So I did that both after getting Yoshi and after getting the Super Hammer, because those both unlock some things. Specifically, using your Yoshi partner, you can cross an area near where Professor Frankly lives to get access. Basically, you could jump onto the roofs in that part of town, which is a couple fun things hidden in that area. But more importantly, there is a dude who's just living on the rooftop of where the guy who upgrades your partners for shine sprites. And this dude will, if you pay him money, he tells you stories about the world. And they slowly unlock over the course of the game, so there's only 3 of them available right now. But they're neat, and they provide a lot of interesting extra context to the story of the game and like stuff that happens. And that, I don't know, I think that's very fun.
Nice.
And then
Neat.
and then the Super Hammer lets you get access to the shortcut pipes to Great Bogley Woods or Petalburg, which that's a neat thing to have, I guess. But yeah, those are my memorable moments.
I had to return to the Pit of 100 Trials because when I got back to Rogueport, I spent every single coin I had because I wanted to get stuff, and I figured I better, be ready for the next chapter. And then I am trying to find out how to get to Don Pianta, so I go talk to the rival gang leader, and he's like, "Give me 64 coins and I'll tell you," and that's a lot of coins.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the Pit of 100 Trials. I got to floor 40 this time, I think.
Nice.
And I got enough coins, and I love the Pit of 100 Trials. It's really fun.
It's very fun. Sorry, my brain glazed out. Was this stuff for the 100 coins for the rat at the docks?
No, this was for the 64 coins for the
60,
boss,
for what
for
the
Ishmael.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just realized there's another thing we haven't brought up, I don't think. There's a rat at the docks, which is he is a kind of rat. There's one other like him in this game. I can't remember. There is a name that the game gives them. Like if you use Goombella's ability on them, it will mention like the kind of creature they are. But they're literally the only 2 in the game, and it's just really weird when you also have the kind that's like Miss Mouse and stuff, which I think like are, oh god,
I think they're called squeaks.
Yeah, like they're squeaks, but it's like, oh no, this is a completely different thing. Anyway, this dude is asking for investments for an oil field in the dry desert. And you can give him 100 coins, and you can do it in multiple installments of 100 coins, up to 300. And you'll see later in the game if that pays off at all.
Yeah, one reason I didn't have any coins and had to go to the Pit of 100 Trials is because I gave a bunch of coins to that guy.
Yeah. Hey, gotta invest your money. Gotta spend money to make money.
Yeah, gotta invest in oil.
Exactly. Everyone, if there's anything to take away from this podcast, it's invest in oil.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I played this over a week ago because I knew that this week I would be working 2 jobs. So I got it played a while ago, so I'm trying to remember. I was kind of bored at times in this chapter because a lot of it was just go to the Game Boy Advance on the wall, talk to it, see the intro cutscene for the fight, which is always almost the same. Do the fight, see the finishing cutscene, and then Jolene gives you the money, and then something happens, and you just do that repeatedly a lot.
Yeah, but that's definitely fair, and I've heard that opinion from people before, and I definitely think the pacing of it is a little rocky because of that. I think I really love this chapter just because even with that weird, kind of repetitiveness to it, it's still just a fun concept, and it is
Yeah.
just such a I love that the game goes really far afield on some chapters and goes just like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna do something just ridiculous.
Yeah, and I really like the how it's a small area that's sort of dense with stuff, and there's
Hmm.
this weird mystery going around, and you have these weird menacing characters of Grubba and Jolene, and you don't know what their deal is, and it's fun. Of course, Jolene, it turns out, is good, but she's weird and creepy for a lot of it because you don't know what her deal is.
Also, in the Goombella talking about girls being cute corner, we have both Jolene when she's in the juice bar in a disguise, and also the Boo who runs the item shop next to Don Pianta's
Hmm.
place. Apparently, according to Goombella, those are both cute girls.
Yes, they are cute.
They are
Mhm.
cute. She's correct. She has good taste in girls.
Yeah, as for me, I really liked this chapter for its theming and things like that. But I was blitzing through it as fast as I could, so I do not have any specific memorable moments. Besides, I think all of the like puzzles in this chapter were a little opaque, and I ended up just standing in front of it with all of my partners trying everything until it went through. Specifically, the boxes in the
Oh,
storage room having to be blown away as if they were paper, which doesn't
yeah.
Everything's paper.
it it does like I have several things, especially one brand new thing that can destroy boxes. That's literally what it does. I can use coops. I can use my hammer. I have all these different things that I can use. But no, you blow it away with.
Well, you blow
Uh,
away the disguise that reveals that they're actually just the regular blocks you can break with your hammer.
yeah, it's a little silly. And
Just a
then
little bit.
when you're sneaking through the air duct, was hitting it with my hammer and it was reacting. I was like, okay, so what do I do? Forgetting that I had a new super hammer thing to use, but I had several times this week where I was standing in front of obviously the thing to do and had to try everything before I figured it out.
Yeah, it's sort of weird that you have to do the super hammer thing of like spinning around the control stick to wind up Mario.
Yeah,
Uh, they
I'm not
just had
super
to make
fond
it
of
a
that.
bit. They just had to make it a bit more complicated for this game because everything's a bit more complicated in this game, or a lot
Mhm.
more complicated.
There was something else that I did that I thought was really cool, and it's gone. I don't know what it was.
I like the Yoshi. He's cute.
He's very good. He's
It
also ridiculously strong to be unupgraded and can do 8 damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and when you upgrade him, he's even better.
in the first game, you do also like the some of the later partners as you get them, like starting with I think Bo, they start to get more powerful even if you haven't upgraded them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely happening with Trunks here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, comparing this game to the first game, also just a fun bit of synchronicity because there are moments of synchronicity between the games at points. In both games, Chapter 3, you are fighting against a I
Giant
guess
spike.
a spike, a giant spike, yeah, like a
Yeah,
spike type enemy who's a big guy, Tubba Blubba or Grubba.
I
Mhm.
hadn't put that together.
Yeah, there's a whole page on the Mario
And
wiki that talks about all of the synchronicities between this game, and it's kind of nuts how many there are without you feeling it while you're playing. It doesn't feel like I'm just doing the same thing I did last game, but it's like every chapter has something that lines up, which is
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and both of them are very much about finding Tubba Blubba or Grubba's secret. And
mhm.
uh yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. It's cool, like you said, it's cool that they're there, but it doesn't feel like it's just repeating the same game again.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. They're fun. it's like a fun motif, but not like something that is gonna punch you in the face and go, "Hey, remember the first game?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I really I I have been really enjoying this game. I feel like this chapter and the previous chapter I had some complaints,
Yeah,
but still I have been really enjoying it, and kind of I get the feeling that these are probably sort of weaker chapters out of the rest of it, and even if that's not the case, I'll still enjoy the rest of it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Actually, one last thing that did occur to me. I don't know what level you have each reached, but fun thing happened to me that I don't think it's ever happened to me at this point in the game previously is when you hit level 10, which I did midway through the Glitz pit, you get an upgrade to your theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to hold twice as many people in your audience, and a bunch of new audience mechanics are added to that whole thing quietly in the background. Like there's more stuff that can fall from the ceiling, and like more things are added.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
I
water
got that.
spraying, which I don't super know what that does.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think it clears status effects.
Maybe.
I think.
That would be my guess. Would be like if you were on fire, it would put you out. But it's so conditional.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this game rules, and I'm excited to play the rest of it, and then in a couple of weeks play through it completely again because the remake looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a what the differences are, because apparently uh lots of new information came out a couple days ago, and I'm trying to find a quick summary that I can read while talking to y'all. But
There's one on this server.
Yeah, Claire put one in yesterday,
The
and so you can hot swap your partners with like holding down a button, and they show up above your head to swap out, so you don't have to go into a menu, which is awesome.
in the field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's
then
nice. That's one thing that is pretty annoying about this game, having to pull up the whole menu
mhm.
to, especially because I can never remember which direction on the D-pad corresponds to which menu.
Yeah, I press the wrong thing every single time. My D-pad
So
is just a alternate start button for me.
yeah, so I have to press the Z button so it brings up the HUD, and then I see which
Mhm,
direction to press. So I have an extra button press in there, which sort of defeats the point.
mhm. And then each area also gets its own battle theme variant in the remake, which is cool.
Oh, neat.
And then you have 100% area completion rewards, which I don't know much more about that. That's all that Claire said. But
That sounds cool.
I do
yeah.
really like the graphics and the screenshots I've seen.
Mhm.
I uh, I think they look really good. The
Oh,
original is also absolutely beautiful, but this one
yeah,
looks good too.
the look is really great. Also, from what I've seen in screenshots, it seems like they are in the English localization actually reintroducing the fact that Vivian's trans, which is great. It has led to a lot of people being like, "Yay, they put the transphobia back in," which is very funny to say, but it's different than like when Persona did it.
Yeah.
It's it's purposeful transphobia with a purpose.
Yes. But my favorite thing about the remake is all of the characters are now printed on cardstock. They are not a flat polygon. They have width to them, which is very small and still papery, but it just makes them look more like they're real paper standing there, which is so
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Neat. Yeah, I am really hoping the fact that they remade both Super Mario RPG and are now remaking Thousand Year Door means that they're gonna let the Mario series be weird and have new weird actual ass RPGs again.
Yeah,
That would be
and
nice.
Super Mario Wonder has a lot of weird non-normal like not following
Shigeru Miyamoto's
Shigeru
fucking
Miyamoto's rule that all toads have to be red with white spots, no variation except for Toadsworth, and that's it. That's over, it seems. So I would
I
love
hope so.
for Paper Mario 5, 6, whatever, the next one, to be a big ol' honkin' RPG.
Or just some new direction for Mario RPG that's not Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi. I would
Mhm.
also love to see.
Yeah, or Rabbids.
Or
The-
Rabbids, which
the-
I played
Rabbids.
the first Mario and Rabbids game and liked it a lot, and apparently the second one is a million times better. So,
Yeah, on
but
Axe of the Blood God, when I was listening the other day, they were like naming the best tactics games on the Switch or whatever, and they basically did the Citizen Kane clause of like, well, we're not going to talk about Sparks of Hope because obviously it's the best one. We're going to focus on these other ones. And I was like, I should play Sparks of Hope.
yeah, the first one is fun, but I've watched a bit of Sparks of Hope and it just looks way better. Which I liked the first one a lot. So but yeah, I was worried this episode was going to be a lot longer because my notes were really long, but I tried to speak quickly.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
And this chapter didn't have a big like difference from the last game, like the last 2 chapters did, that we then can talk about for a long time. So our mem moms were much shorter this time as well.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything fun to say about Of Glitz and Glory?
It made me want a hot dog. And then I ate a hot dog.
Nice.
Love this for you. But that will do it for the week. If you like what you heard, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where any and all donations help us cover the cost of running the show and making it better and better. If you set up a recurring monthly donation, you also get some additional benefits. If you donate $1 or more a month, you get access to our bonus feed, where this week we play the Star Trek chapter of Star Ocean First Departure. It is the one that's all about sci-fi and in space and stuff, finally. And it's really cool. And next week we finish it, and then we have to play Tales again.
No.
But yeah, you can head on over to check that out. You'll also get access to our polls to decide what game we play next on the main feed. Our next game has already been decided. It's going to be Persona 3 Reload. But after that, we've already been like percolating the ideas for the next round of voting, and we're so freaking excited. And so can't wait for that.
It's gonna be fun.
And then if you donate $5 or more a month, we'll also shout out your name at the end of every episode, just like this. Shoutouts to Cerebral Wind, It's Clear Time, Frost Terror, Dragon Slayer 19, Flores, Kaldron, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron 524, and Jfro Prime. And finally, if you love us so much that you donate $20 or more a month, you can also get me to say a sentence of your choosing, either to plug something or just to make me say certain things in a certain order. Shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, read-and-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shoutouts to Vimke, who wants you to play The Legend of Legaia. It's got a dude with blue hair. What more do you need? Every good JRPG stars a guy with blue hair. This is a
Gotta
fact.
have blue hair. It's a pretty
Gotta
nice.
have blue hair and pronouns.
Mm-hmm. And shout outs to Carr, who's a dentist, so he isn't plugging the website, but rather your own mouth. And he says to brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly, the time before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye.